Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows, giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk for America.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
You're watching National Streaming Sports. Over 20 podcasts, 70 shows, and a 3.5-star rating on Roku TV.
Breeze ain't number like we recording.
Drew Brees. We are now.
You recording the break.
Because I want folks to know I'm sick of Kevin.
Jay Train is going to be talking about Drew Brees for a very long time.
At least I can talk about him, brother. How many quarterbacks you talking about in your organization?
You told him great value.
Eli Manning's a little bit iffy.
Go ahead. That halo is perfect.
Eli has two in the halo. Two. Big ones,
that's true.
Big ones.
He did get over on Tom Brady. Yeah, he did.
No,
right.
but
Twice, Brian.
So bad. They got quarterbacks that go out on.
He just didn't get over into the Hall of Fame. That's about
it. Listen. Marcus Mariota abandoned the whole team. He went out, never came back. They didn't even know they were looking for him, calling his house. He up there cashing checks at the money center at Walmart and not even thinking about the Falcons.
Yeah, you see what Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield did when they left Carolina, right?
Yeah, but the point is they left. They were released. Marcus Mariota went AWOL on y'all.
How about y'all do Bryson Simon?
Taylor Heineke, Desmond Ritter. Then y'all paid Kirk Cobain's all that money. Now come on, man. You got Michael Penix Jr. who got 4 injuries.
The two best quarterbacks in the Falcons regime is Mike Vick and Matt Ryan.
And that's gonna be all too.
I think Penix is gonna be that guy.
Well, but at times got to tell you.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Prim and Proper Sports. I'm your host, Sonia. I hope everybody's having a great Wednesday, this pre-draft Wednesday. Can y'all believe we are finally done with all the NFL draft talk? And tomorrow, this time, we will be streaming our live stream of round one. And we will know who has gone in the top 5 picks at least by the time this show airs on tomorrow. I'll be here with Bistrella, Nate, J Train, whole bunch of guys that are part of the network here. We're doing a live stream of the NFL draft. I hope everybody's doing good tonight. I hope that everybody is staying safe and just enjoying beautiful weather. It's spring. Spring has sprung. All right, guys. So we're supposed to be joined by Jim Behringer. He just texted me and let me know he's running late. So I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to go back into the vault as I do sometimes and wing this thing by myself. Make sure you guys download the Roku app. Stay tuned for all the sports that we have, 24/7 sports without the cost of cable. Shout out to Mac and Linda over there. Make sure you guys always follow us over there. We thank everyone who has rated us so far, who is following us and gives us a 3.4-star rating. Also, shout out to the Huddle Sports Network as well. Those guys over there, thank you for having me on. Now, the draft is starting tomorrow. Matter of fact, it's just around the corner in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The Tennessee Titans have already solidified to the public, hey, we are not going anywhere. We are not moving our number one spot. We are not entertaining trades or offers for that spot. We are definitely taking number one. And so with number one means they're definitely going to be drafting a quarterback, because Will Levis is just not the answer there. Now, me personally, I don't think they gave Will Levis an honest chance there. You get rid of King Henry, you get rid of Mike Vrabel, and you expect a freshman quarterback, for all intensive purposes, to still thrive. I don't think they gave him a length of time enough to be able to acclimate to the NFL or to the Titans organization. But that's just my thought. Now, what is the hot top for today is the Broncos. Now, last year, they drafted Bo Nix, and he had a lights-out introduction to the NFL. And without further ado, now he is now in need of accentuating that offensive line. So with the draft being so heavily saturated with running backs and wide receivers, it is predicted that Denver may make a move to go up into the earlier part of the draft so that they can get a running back to accentuate Bo Nix. Now, there are a lot of enthusiasts out there, and this will definitely complement everything that Bo Nix has brought to that organization. So it's going to be interesting to see just what happens tomorrow night when the Broncos are on the clock. The Jets are also the talk of the town as they are entertaining their own draft interests. Now, you guys know they did get rid of Aaron Rodgers. They've had a whole debacle about that. As a matter of fact, he went on the record saying, hey, the Jets could have called me on the phone and told me they were moving on from me. Instead, I took a flight across the country. I'm dealing with my own stuff. I get there and they say, hey, we're moving on from you. Well, guess what, Aaron? Congratulations. Now you know how Robert Saleh felt. And this is the same energy you've been bringing this team the whole year, because he basically gave the Jets his butt to kiss the entire time. All right, guys, I'm joined by my brother here, my savior for the night, Nate the Great, one of my favorites. Nate, hi. Thanks for joining me tonight.
Yeah, no problem. I was watching the playoffs,
You're
so I was like, yeah,
awesome.
shoot. Yeah.
Yes. Jim is somewhere in the Twilight Zone and unaccounted for. I text my brother Nate. I text B Strill and we're in a group chat. Nate says, hey, chick, I'm here. I can come on. So he joins me tonight. Nate, how was your day?
That's good. Just worked earlier and just like I said, watching the playoffs. Just finished eating dinner. So yeah, just chilling out.
All right, yeah, definitely. Let's talk about, everybody's talking about the draft. Let's talk about those playoffs. Playoffs in full effect. NBA Game 2 matchups are scheduled for today. The Boston Celtics wanted to build I don't know if this game is still going on or not, build on their Game 1 victory.
It's in the third quarter.
All right, what's the
Boston's
score
up by
7.
Magic? Boston's up by 7, 84-77.
Yeah, I think Boston's going to be kind of hard to stop. I mean, we've seen this story play out before, right, Nate? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, Boston's a deep team, very talented. Orlando's giving them a fight. I'll give them that. They're a younger team. They don't have the firepower that Boston does, but, they're fighting hard and, they're going to go back home. And I think they at least win one game in the series, and then the Celtics probably close it out pretty quick.
Yeah, especially if they get them back at the Garden, it's a wrap. Right. It's a wrap for them. Yeah. So, Now, and that's interesting that you say that because Jason Tatum has been battling that wrist injury. We saw him fall the other day. Looks like the blunt, he already was favoring it anyway. And then when he fell, looks like the weight of that fall was that same. He had issues with his wrist earlier, right?
Yeah, he's out for this game. So probably the reason why the game's kind of close. But yeah, I think they're just being more cautious because, Boston, the real battle is going to be whoever they play in the conference finals, which is probably going to be the Cavs. And, you're going to need a healthy Tatum.
Yeah.
And definitely. So I think that they'll definitely just, play it by ear. They can win without Tatum against these other teams.
Especially with the Magic, right? I mean, barring any magic happening. Another
they're a lesser competition, but it's still fun to watch. The games are pretty close.
Yeah, this is the exciting time of NBA for me. This is when I start really tuning in because before you know it, it'll be May, then June, and we're in finals, and it's like, oh my gosh, we're getting ready to crown the next champion. I mean,
exactly.
Cleveland Cavaliers are hosting the Miami Heat, and they have a 1-0 series lead as well.
Yeah, and I think Cleveland's pretty much bulldozing right now, Miami. So yeah. Again, I think it's going to be a crash course with the Cavs and the Boston for the champion for the rights to get to the finals in the East side. Because both of those teams, both of those teams are playing at a very high level. I don't see anybody else really challenging those two teams. So I think they're on a crash course.
I was going to ask you about that. Now let's switch gears to the West Coast, the West Division. That is, the Warriors are looking good. I mean, Jimmy Butler out there situated, Draymond Green, Steph Curry. They are on the road with Game 2.
Yeah, they play tonight.
Game 1 lead.
Yeah, another young team that's going against a very veteran, experienced team with Steph Curry. I think the Rockets probably win tonight to tie it up. But I have the Warriors winning this series just because experience and Steph Curry is your closer. I don't think the Rockets have that kind of guy yet.
Yeah.
They're still a very young team and they haven't really been in the playoffs. In fact, I don't think any of the young guys have even been in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They have not gone, and that's a very young team. And sometimes, you do want youth because that gives you your energy, that gives you your stamina in the game. But experience, veteran experiences, I mean, the Warriors.
In the playoffs, you don't want too much youth. You want more experience and more vets because they've been there before. And when the games get tight, you want those vets because they're not going to have a deer in headlights situation as a young person would. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like act like you've been here before type stuff. Now, when we look at all that Timberwolves and the Lakers game, I mean, we've seen LeBron have his fair share of things. Game 1 Western Conference matchup over the weekend. The Timberwolves, of course, took care of business. I mean, they routed the Lakers 117-95, even though Luka Doncic really had a solid performance.
Yeah, I mean, the Lakers did play last night too, and they evened the series. But that first game was definitely a blowout for sure on the Timberwolves side. And now they go back to Minnesota, and we'll see. I don't count against LeBron and Luka Doncic on the road, even so, because those guys have been there before. Again, vets, experience, and all that. Though Ann Edwards is going to make it tough, but I have the Lakers. Yeah, I have the Lakers winning in 6.
Okay, I was just about to talk to you about that because I was pulling up some of our screenshots that we've shared in the chat. And, the first start, Luka showed every reason why Nico Harrison traded him. That's according to Skip Bayless. Do you agree with that?
No.
Nobody gives Skip any credit anyway. Let's be clear.
Well, Skip's a Dallas homer. I mean, listen, I get it. He claimed to be out of shape or maybe not vested. I think the reality is that they didn't want to pay him all that money. He was due north of about $300 something million.
Yeah.
And he's the type of player that he's not as driven as a LeBron. He's not driven as much as some of these other great players like Steph Curry. some of the greats, he's not wired that way. It's like Joker. Joker's the same way. Joker's a very good player, but he's not driven or wired. They just play their game. And the thing with Dallas is that he doesn't play defense. That's one. And when your best player don't play defense, that's a problem.
Right.
On top of that, you got to pay him $300 million. And if you got a guy who is still young, but it's not as driven as some of these great NBA players, you got to ask for more in the trade. There's no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see why Dallas kind of moved off from him. They just didn't get enough for him. Like the Lakers basically stole that deal.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Talk about a Dollar Tree versus Walmart kind of deal. And what's up, Pink? Pink Fanfare, of course, the lady behind our reels, as we always talk about her. She's saying hello tonight. She's draft 2025. We wanted to plug in that information real quick about the NBA while we were, at a small pause here. How are you feeling about the draft? We can switch gears back.
I'm glad it's over tomorrow, or at least the first round is over. I'm so tired. Like I think today I just was enough. I've been listening to this. I listen to a lot of talk radio when I'm working.
Oh yeah,
or sports radio, and I have been listening to sports radio for almost 3 weeks about the draft, and it's the same stories. Where's Shedeur going? Why is he going there? This draft is this and that, and what these teams are going to do and all that. And I'm just like, listen, I'm just ready for tomorrow to be over with.
It's all the guesswork.
Yeah. It's all just like, it's all smoke and mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
B said it best. Like, I mean, he's a very blunt person. Like he doesn't, he says he doesn't believe anything until it happens, which is fine. I can buy that mentality, but I also like to follow the crumbs in situations, because usually if there's crumbs, it leads somewhere to something.
There's always crumbs. There's always crumbs.
And you got to do in-depth, deeper dives into where those crumbs are leading. And that being said, let's just get it out of the way again. Shedeur is going to the Steelers.
Okay, so number 21.
It's a done deal in my mind. I think, and it doesn't make sense because J-Train, and I don't know if he's listening or not or where he's at, but we talked about this on our mock draft. Like, he told me with a straight face that he's okay with what Spencer Rattler brings to the table. Listen, Spencer Rattler, I don't think is a starting quarterback in this league. I really don't. Yes, I know. I'm excited.
You guys are Lions and Chargers setting up.
Hall of Fame game.
25.
Definitely.
That's crazy. It's not going to even be the August 1st this year. It's moved back to July 31st.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping that we would get the first game of the year, because I really want to play the Eagles in their house and take away their championship night. But because we're getting the Hall of Fame game, probably means we're not playing the first game.
Yeah.
So, anyways, but I just want to say this about the Saints. I just don't understand how you can say you're okay with Spencer Rattler as your starting quarterback going forward, because Carr's gone. We've already acknowledged that he's gone. Saints already came out and said he's got an injury. He's getting his way out of New Orleans.
But they're saying he faked that he may have faked that.
Well, either way, he's not going to play.
Right.
He's not going to play this year. And the thing is, and I brought this up in the mock draft too, Kellen Moore is your new head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And usually when you hire a new head coach, they want their own quarterback. And I promise you, if you put a litmus test to him and asked him, would you rather have Spencer Rattler or Shedeur Sanders, he would say Shedeur Sanders. But
because of a fresh new start?
Yeah, well, Shedeur is a little bit more talented than Rattler, in my opinion. I mean, I've seen Rattler play. Like I said, I followed him back when he was up at the OU times.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. He got beat out by Caleb Williams, okay? Like, and I'm not saying Caleb Williams.
He came out of USC.
Spencer right. Well, he's transferred to USC.
Yeah, he did in the end.
Him and Spencer Rattler were on the same team. Spencer Rattler was Spencer Rattler was Caleb Williams before Caleb Williams came onto the scene.
Okay.
And then he kind of fell off. Caleb Williams took over the spot, took over the starting job. Rattler transfers over to South Carolina and kind of does his own thing. All I'm saying is that I would love to see him in that black and gold New Orleans Saints, but I think he's going to go to the other black and gold, and that's going to be the Steelers.
Wow, that's crazy. They have the same colors, even though they'll say black and yellow. It's still black and gold.
Black and yellow, black and gold. It doesn't matter.
Because the stats for Spencer last year, he had 1,317 yards, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Not bad considering it was his introduction, and 70.4 rating.
Yeah, like I said, I watched some Saint games with Spencer Rattler. There wasn't nothing too impressive, in my opinion. I mean, now you can also argue that, they didn't have a lot around him. Okay, that's understandable. But I just didn't see a starting caliber type of player. I just didn't see it. Now I don't know if Shador's going to be that either. But if you're asking me, if I'm a GM, do I bank on Spencer Rattler being my guy and then have to kick the can next year and go find another quarterback, because they're going to have to do that if they keep Spencer Rattler? Or if I have a chance to draft Shador Sanders and let Spencer Rattler and Shador battle it out, and I can always trade Spencer later, then I'm going to go ahead and do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand how these teams are so crappy are going to pass up on a quarterback potential. Because, dude, you need a quarterback. Like, the NFL is won by quarterbacks. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, defense does win championships, but you don't get anywhere without a decent quarterback, period.
He was ripped today, or it came out today. Shador Sanders was absolutely ripped by some anonymous coach, assistant coach.
I heard about it. Yeah,
quote
they
being
said
called
interview
entitled.
Ever. Yeah. I'm going to say something.
The draft.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I was just saying the day before the draft. And real quick, some little breaking news here. Free agent DeAndre Hopkins is scheduled to visit with the Patriots next week. Wide receiver out of the Cardinals. I didn't even realize he was a free agent. That's a little bit of breaking news. He's going to be visiting with the Pats next week.
He was with the Chiefs. Network. He was with the Chiefs in the championship, but didn't really do anything. One time he had a chance to catch the ball, fell, or Patrick Mahomes missed him on a wide open play.
Yes, that's why I was like, this is a different D Hop. When I saw that, I was like, this is a totally different D Hop. He's talking about Hop for real, Hop.
Yeah. I want to say something about the Shador situation. I've kind of said this. I've kind of said this already. So, people don't want to make this a race thing, but it is a race thing.
It is,
because I've never seen a black quarterback get ostracized and thrown under the bus so bad in my life that people act like this guy is just the worst person in the face of the earth. And the thing is that part of it's Dion. Okay?
That's what I was going to say. It comes from Dion.
Yeah, it does. Because Dion's cachet has rubbed off on Shador. Okay? Because if you listen to Shador in his interviews, he talks like his father. But here's the point I'm trying to say. A lot of these people that are coming out with these remarks and these, he's the worst interview I've ever seen in my life, BS crap, whatever it is. I'm willing to bet, Sonia, they're probably white people that are doing these comments. And the thing is that, like I said, they probably do not like Dion. They don't like Flash. They didn't like the chains. They didn't like, hey, this is me coming out. Like looking in college when that one coach called him out for wearing shades.
Yes. Dan Lanning called him out for wearing shades.
Exactly.
Oregon's coach.
Right. But there's been, but again, a white guy calling him out because of what he's doing. Who cares what he wears?
The
you want to wear shades? Wear shades. Who cares?
Yeah, the flashiness.
He didn't say nothing about his gold whistle. You know,
right? I forgot about
but I mean,
that.
the thing is that it's just and I know Cam's black too, but Cam is not Shador, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that, is Cam is more of a low key, quiet dude that probably came from more humbleness because of the fact of where he came from. He started at Washington State. He went to Incarnate Word, and then he went to Miami and balled out. So his trajectory has been a little bit different. Okay. Shador came from HBCU, Jackson State. Okay. And then he came to Colorado with his dad. You know, and the thing is that I don't understand why there's so much hate for this guy. Okay, he's cocky. Well, I kind of want a cocky quarterback. I'd rather have somebody I need to bring down than somebody I have to bring up.
That's true.
You know? And he's got strong character. Everybody said he's got a strong character. Okay. He can play. I'm not saying he's going to be like Patrick Mahomes or anything like that, but the guy's got skill. He completed over 74% passes in college, 4,000 yards in a Power 5 conference. So, I mean, his numbers aren't bad. And he did it really with nothing around him, which is even more impressive.
Yeah. He didn't have anybody. Pink says it's like Cam. I think she's talking about Cam Newton, the hate that he got. I mean, you got to compare. Yeah. And it's just so ironic, like she's saying, you know. So I think she is talking about Cam Newton because she's saying preach. It's you hate to bring race into it, but you can't help but see it because, I mean, when it's not a black quarterback, it's called, you know, well, they're just that good. They deserve this. They're this. And then
even the stereotypical, like, oh, he's just a good runner. He can't throw.
Yeah.
Because he's black, he's a good runner. Like, they don't even say he can throw the ball. Oh, he can run the football. Like, that's it. Like, we know he can run the football. That's all we need to know. Like here's the thing, and I've always said this about black quarterbacks and white quarterbacks. So let's start with the white quarterback. With the white quarterback, they're not always blessed, gifted with speed, right? We can all agree on that. They have more arm mechanics. They know how to progress and all that through their passes and all that. And as coaches, they coach them up to go to progressions, throw the ball, throw it accurately. You know, if you can escape, go for it. But your thing is passing. And that's why they go to all those passing academies. That's why they go to all those trainings and all that, because they're working with people on their passing skills, right? Okay. So if you're a black quarterback in high school and you're fast as hell, what do you think your coach is going to tell you to do? Son, I want you to run the ball.
Yep.
And outrun everybody.
Everybody.
You got the legs that God gave you. Go run and go give me some touchdowns.
And that's all that matters.
Don't even worry about throwing the ball. Don't even worry about your progressions, nothing. If that thing breaks down, you go.
Right.
And the thing is that they never really learn progressions. They never really learn to stay in the pocket and throw accurately. It's all about, hey, if I got my feet going and the pocket breaks down, I'm gone. You know, I can outrun this whole defense.
As much as people have been speaking against him, and now this NFL coach or assistant or whoever it is has come out, Matt Rule, former Carolina Panthers coach and Nebraska coach, actually has Shador's back. He said, I would take him at 3 without a question. I think he's tough. He said you can actually quote him on this, that when they played them, he took 12 hits. 7 of those hits were sacks. And he's accurate and smart. And he sees the coverage ahead of time. He can run if he has to. And he's gone to 2 places that haven't won, and they won. That would be Jackson and Colorado.
Yeah.
And he said, here's why.
Want that. And you want that in the leader.
He's the guy who can handle the spotlight in New York. He's the only person that's raised from childhood to know to handle the spotlight because of Deion being his dad. Who are some of the greatest quarterbacks in New York? Broadway Joe and Eli Manning. Shador was trained at the foot of his dad. He's got a completely different demeanor. The spotlight there in New York is so large that he thinks that he'll crush it. And, you know, that's something great to know that an opposing coach, one of your rival coaches in your college time,
in your own conference.
Yes, and had his back to shush the
Big Ten, I'm sorry.
naysayers. But I'm like, we've been hearing that his attitude was not good all this time. Why say this, the night before? Like, who cares? Who cares at this point? He's not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The haters out there on Shedeur, whether they don't like him as a person, they don't like his daddy, whatever that is, they all come out right before the draft. It's like politics. Like you really don't hear stories until the election comes near.
Right.
Because they want to sway those people that are on the fence.
Yes. Exactly.
And that's all they're trying to do is they're trying to put all this narrative out there right before the draft so it sways some of these other people who are going to be making the decisions. I'll tell you right now, and I've heard this from multiple people that I listen to, New York is split on Shedeur.
Mm-hmm.
There's part of they say that the owner wants Shedeur. No, I'm sorry. The owner of the GM wants Shedeur, but Dable, the coach, he wants Jackson Dart. And so they're split. Like,
so New York is in a win now situation because if not, Dayball won't be there next season. And that even with Shedeur, I don't think they can do a win now.
Well, so here's what I think. I think that if they get Shedeur or Jackson Dart, Dable and Schoen or whatever his name is are going to be given one more year because you can't judge a quarterback by first year. You need to kind of give him a full season and then see how his offseason goes. And then year 2, that's usually where the player pops. Now, if they don't draft Shedeur and let's say they go Abdul Carter, okay? And let's say if they don't take Jackson Dart and they take some other lower quarterback, then, you got a point that, the clock's ticking on them because you went on and got Russell Wilson, who should be able to be decent for you. And then you got 30 for 30 Jameis Winston behind him. So, I mean, like, if they have another losing, like a really bad season, like if they're 500, Sonia, I think they keep their jobs because that's progression. Okay. But if they're 17 games, so 2-6, 2-15 or something like that, or 3-14, they're getting fired. There's no doubt. New York will not put up with that fan base. The fan base in New York will not put up with that kind of mediocrity. That's not even mediocrity. That's crap. It's horrible.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't know. Like, the Giants are a real wild card, but from what I'm hearing, they're moving past Shedeur. And it's probably going to be Abdul Carter, and then they're going to try to trade up and get their quarterback in the first round. So they'll probably trade with some of these teams at the bottom, maybe us, to try to get up and get Jackson Dart.
Which is crazy.
That's what I'm hearing.
I mean, because they've just taken 2 veteran quarterbacks, and they still got DeVito there. I mean, you're not going to have 4 roster full quarterbacks. You're going to move DeVito to the practice squad or try to trade him while he's got some capital.
Let's be honest. DeVito might get cut before the season starts. I'm sorry. It was a good story. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't even know if it was a good story. I mean,
it's kind of a funny story the way he kind of came into the NFL. Winston's deals
and stuff. It was crazy.
Winston's deal is not that expensive. They could move off of Winston if they wanted to. So, but the thing is that they have their starting quarterback for 2025. It's Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Even if Shedeur comes in, Shedeur's going to sit behind Russell Wilson. Unless Russell Wilson just stinks it up, most of the season, and they finally throw in Shedeur or something like that. But
okay, go ahead, Nate. Then I'm gonna ask you.
No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead and ask.
So why not like Pittsburgh? They need a quarterback. They got rid of everybody. I know they got picks up there, but my point is, I'm not sold on Pickens.
Okay, right. Yeah, and Pickens could get traded. There's a possibility of that, but that's what I'm saying is it's going to be Pittsburgh. I think the more and more I hear and follow the breadcrumbs, why Aaron Rodgers has not signed with the Steelers, I think he thinks that Shedeur is going there.
Oh,
and that's why he's going to stay away from that because he might not even get to play a whole full season.
Yeah.
If he stinks it up and the fan base is calling for Shador to play, and here's the thing that people forget too. Dion's a big influencer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You don't tell me that if Aaron Rodgers, sorry, but is stinking it up in Steeler land, you don't think Dion quietly is talking behind the scenes to the owner, say, "Hey, play my boy." Like they want my guy to play. Like, why are you playing Aaron Rodgers, who obviously can't even play anymore? Like, put Shador in and let's see what he can do. Like, don't get twisted. Like, Dion's a big influencer in the NFL circles.
Yes,
and he will talk to the Rooneys. He will talk to Mike Tomlin. He's probably really cool with Mike Tomlin.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
So I think that's why he's staying away from the Steelers, because he knows that Shador is going there.
I wonder another scenario that came up, and like you said, I'll be so glad tomorrow night this time we can all put it to rest.
Yeah, me too.
We will be like, listen, here was all the guesses, and none of us
see who's right,
right,
see who's right, see who's wrong. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. There was another summation that the Cowboys, like every year we hear the fan base and everybody say they're tired of Dak, and then some kind of way Dak, finagles another deal and he stays, and then he gets hurt, but he's still on the team. And we saw what they did with Trey Lance. Didn't even let him get his full contract because they robbed him of the
they traded picks for him too.
Huh?
They traded picks for Trey Lance, and
yes, that's the other thing. And then they ended up trading him. But the scenario went like, okay, like you said, Dion is heavily infiltrated in the NFL. He's very well respected. One of the best cornerbacks ever of record. And so, people just really respect him. And he's, a man.
There's a reason why some of, if you look at some of his staff at Colorado, they're former NFL players. Marshall Faulk, Warren Sapp.
Yes. He literally
he's gonna have an NFL roster on his staff.
Yeah, he takes his village with him. He's the type person, like I said, he's a man of faith. He takes his people, his village with him.
Or he just draws the crowd. He just draws people in because he's such an influencer and he's such a good leader among men that people buy into what he's doing at Colorado. And so the fact is they want to be a part of that.
Yeah, so it went like, okay, and so I had brought up Dallas because I wanted to build up to what I was gonna tell you about. And you probably heard this, that he just got this $54 million contract with Colorado. But it's it's still a loophole in there. If somebody wants to buy it out, they can, if he wants to go to the league. So they were saying that possibly Dallas would be able to loop up or whatever they were gonna do, get Shador, and then also bring his dad in. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, sometimes but I have to ask.
So one thing about Jerry Jones is Jerry Jones doesn't like buyouts. He doesn't want to pay extra money for somebody and beg them to come play for the Cowboys. He thinks that if you want to play for you want to coach the Cowboys or play for the Cowboys, you got to show that you want to play. He's not gonna beg you. He's a salesman. That's what he does. I was surprised that Dion didn't go to the Cowboys because once I found out that the Cowboys were moving off of McCarthy, first thing came out of my mouth is Dion's going. 100%.
I thought there or the Raiders. I thought one of those because he's connected.
I thought the Raiders might have made a bit of push, but the Cowboys made a lot of sense. He played well for the Cowboys. He's very tight with Jerry Jones. He still talks to Emmitt Smith. He still talks to Michael Irvin. Like, he's very invested in the Cowboys. And to coach, quote unquote, and I say quotes because it's not true anymore, to quote unquote coach America's team, Dion would jump at the bit to do that. Like, you're crazy.
He probably would revamp them.
Yeah.
For real. Do you know the hype that would be around?
100%. But here's the thing:
everybody would become honorary Cowboys fans just because they like Dion.
But here's the thing. Either one or two things happen, and why it didn't work out. Because I think he could have left Colorado. Colorado is not a premier job. Like, they're not even formidable in when the conference is. Like, they're decent, but they're not great. The only reason why it didn't work out for him is one or two things. A, Colorado begged him and over the earth to stay at that school. And that's why they gave him the extension, because they knew that he is everything for Colorado now. He has put Colorado on the map. People don't talk about Colorado anymore or talk about Colorado now because of Deion Sanders. That's the reason why they retired his son's jersey and retired Travis Hunter's jersey, because Deion has done more for Colorado than anybody has done for Colorado in a minute.
Yeah, nobody even really paid attention to them.
The revenue, the fan base, everything, the hype, all that stuff is real. So that was one reason. The second thing is, I think Deion went to Jerry, because I guarantee you there was a negotiation period. Deion asked for the moon. And Jerry, as much as Deion, he loves Deion. Again, he's not going to overpay for situations with coaches. He might overpay for a player, but he's not going to overpay for coaches that he's never been a coach in the NFL. And I understand that. That's totally fine. So Deion probably went and asked for a lot of money, and Jerry's like, I can't do that.
Hey, Fred, what's up, Blue Phoenix? How you doing from the West Side? Thanks for checking in with us tonight.
But that's why I think it didn't work out.
I really agree with that. I mean, and I know that you would have like the full narrative on that, because you think intellectually from almost like, I mean, Nate, you really could be in like some type of ownership position with leagues.
I would honestly, I would love to get into that realm of stuff. I started too late in life.
You're way younger than me, so you have plenty of life, sir. Listen, you're talking to somebody that's in law school at my age, so you can.
I respect that, but here's the thing, Sonia, and I say this all the time: you have to play the game, and sometimes I don't want to play the game. Yeah. I want to play. I want to make my own rules.
Have the fun. You want to have the fun too.
Yeah, I want to have the fun. I want to make my own rules, and I know that when you get into the bureaucracy and the red tape that comes in with those situations, you're handcuffed, because you have to play their rules, just like you're a lawyer. Like, you've got to play by the judicial system. You got to play by whatever they tell you to do. You can go out of bounds, but you're not going to have a job very long.
Yeah, it becomes pretty structured. I've actually, I was telling a friend a couple of days ago, I was like, going into law school, because I've wanted to be an attorney literally for over 20 years, and I've worked in that field as a paralegal. But going to law school, just finishing that first year, has shown me so much stuff that makes it be like, man, this is literally so stressful. Like, it's definitely, it's literally a sacrificial career. It's not like you're just doing it for any type of glitz or glamour. It's a career of service, period. You are always helping somebody.
Yes, but also too, you're a puppet to the people that hire you, and you're a puppet to the system.
Yep.
Because you can't go over the system. There's no way of winning that situation.
Sometimes it's nothing. You can make your own game and rules, Frat, but it just depends on where you're playing. Because you can play the game. You can play the game on a playground and make your own rules. But if you're playing in a league, you're not making your own rules. And
there's another thing you were saying about how me kind of being intellectual and aware. I also do a really good job of reading the room. Mm-hmm. So when you read the room and understand the situation, you're going to make better decisions. Mm-hmm. And like you said right now, you're reading the room. You're seeing what this is all about, and really where you're going to fit in the grand scheme of things when it comes down to, you becoming a lawyer, and how much power and how much push you're going to have. And the reality is you're not, because you're basically representing somebody else, and they're telling you what to do. Like, hey, I'm paying you. You're going to do what I tell you what to do. Like, you might take my advice, but at the end of the day, if they don't like your advice, they're like, hey, I'm paying you to do this for me.
Yep. You are the legal mouthpiece for everybody. And speaking of legal mouthpiece, we got about 15 minutes left. I do want to talk about some MLB news. So the MLB is trying to make a push for India. That was a shocker for me, Nate. I mean, I know that we're getting a lot
of stuff. India, the country?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We're getting a lot of stuff for different sports trying to go to different countries and what have you. Meanwhile, you also have the breakdown of TNT, NBA on TNT, which is a heartbreaker. That's going to be big because that's a slogan within itself, the NBA on TNT. Run through some MLB scores real quick. Then we're going to talk about that TNT NBA thing. MLB, the Tigers win the series. Reese Olson pitched a stellar 7 out of 1 and 3 scoreless innings, leading the Detroit Tigers to a 6-0 victory over the Padres. That's a big win for the Tigers. That's your neck of the woods, Nate.
Tigers been playing well.
The Tigers were doing great.
But Tigers been playing well. Yes.
Yes. They are now securing the series win for that. Braves take the series. Hey, I'm wearing my Braves shirt today. Go Braves, go Bravos. Eli White's 3-run home run in the 8th inning lifted the Braves to a 4-1 win.
Acuna's back too.
Cardinals. Huh?
Acuna's back too.
Yes. That's the big thing. I was getting ready to talk about it next. Of course, Ronald Acuna Jr. is back. We are so excited. Welcome back. Hope he stays injury-free and does really good. He's had a really blowout season last year. So hopefully he stays healthy. Guardians debut, Zach Kent made his MLB debut for the Cleveland Guardians, striking out 4 batters in 3 innings against the Yankees. That is huge.
Anytime the Yankees lose, that's always a good thing for me.
Yes. And the Cubs have some roster moves. The Chicago Cubs signed infielder Nicky Lopez and selected the contract of pitcher Drew Pomeranz, making several corresponding roster moves. For the New York Mets, Brett Beatty hit his first home run of the season for the Mets, and Juan Soto, you guys know him, made a crucial defensive play, throwing out a runner at home. Those are MLB updates that I had to plug in. Did you catch any of those games, Nate?
Not really. Honestly, baseball is my 3rd favorite sport. Same. But like right now with basketball, like the draft's tomorrow, but basketball is my full attention right now. I'm a big like NBA is my 2nd favorite sport. Football's number 1, basketball's 2nd, and baseball's 3rd. But I am a Red Sox fan, so I mean, I've been following some of the games. You know, I watch the Tigers play and all that. Yes. But right now, I'm full basketball mode right now.
Yeah, before I got into podcasting, I was NBA, college basketball, like NCAA dudes.
These are some of the best playoffs. Like they were talking about this on the radio. This is one of the highest rated playoff seasons in 25 years.
Yes, and let me just plug in right now. Cooper Flagg has declared for the NBA draft. I don't know how I didn't get a chance to tell you guys about that early on. He is joining his friend who's already been in Knuckle. I never pronounce his name. Nepal. He already had declared. Yeah, Knuckle. And so now they both are in the draft. Those fans who raised $71,000 to try to get Cooper to come back. It was nothing. Cooper is going to enter the draft as the youngest draft in NBA history.
I don't like it, Sonia.
18 years old. He will not be 19 until December. So he's got the whole year to be 18, Nate.
Yeah. Listen, I understand, and congratulations on a great career at Duke. I would like to have seen him play a little bit more. But, you know, money does talk, and I understand it. The thing is, I'm worried that he's going to fall more likely into a really bad team. And if that team is not good, he's going to get a lot of blame. Doesn't matter how good he's playing.
Yeah.
Because the argument's going to be like, why aren't you making these players better? Like, you're supposed to be the great white hope and all this stuff I've been hearing. Like, you got to make these players better. And if he's not, and he struggles himself, Sonia, here comes the bus labels.
Yep.
And, you should have stayed in college. You know, like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, 18-year-olds are not made to play in the NBA. It's a grown man's league. And I hate that the NBA hasn't changed this rule, because they should at least stay in college for at least 2 years. At least 2 years.
I thought so.
We don't need more 18-year-olds in the NBA.
Yes. That's what I feel like, because how can you not, like, I don't know. I always look at just the maturation of people in general. And the cerebral cortex of the brain doesn't fully form until age 28. So you are literally you're still little. You're a teenager. You literally are a freaking teenager.
You can't even drink.
Next year.
You can't even drink.
You can't vote. No, can you vote? Yeah, you can vote.
You can vote. You just can't drink.
Yeah, yeah. You just got your driver's license like 2 years ago. You're a novice. But one person that is a bust, Nate, and I have to bring this person in. They did not go into the league at this age, but Zion Williamson out of Duke. I mean, once again, another injury. It's not conditioned. He's only 24. He went to Duke. He's been in the league actually since 2019 and got All-American and National Player of the Year. I think that's the year he went in there. Let's see. 2019. So that makes him. He was right around 20.
Yeah, he was about 20. But here's the thing. You just proved my point with Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson was one of the best touted players coming out of college. I mean, college. And everybody thought this guy was going to be big time. He's going to be a star and all that. And the reality is two things. A, injuries. He couldn't get past the injuries. But also, two, he went to a bad franchise that didn't know how to build around him, and he did not make his players better.
Mm-hmm.
And now you look at it, 4 years, 5 years into it, we're talking about him possibly being traded from the Pelicans because they have a new GM and a new president now.
He's claiming Joe Dumars is claiming he don't have a mandate to do it though.
He can do it,
right?
Trust
he can.
me. And I think the Pelicans are pushing really hard for it because 5 years, he's up for an extension at some point. We're not going to pay him that money because we can't rely on him to stay healthy. They're going to kick rocks and they're going to try to trade him. But that's what I'm trying to say is that with Cooper Flagg, I'm worried about that because if Cooper Flagg lands on the Wizards or the Hornets, those teams are bad.
Yeah,
really bad,
garbage,
and they're not constructed well from the front office either. Mm-hmm. So Cooper's going to have so much pressure to have to deliver every night. And Sonia, if he comes out and he doesn't deliver, I guarantee you the bust labels will come out so quick it will make your head spin.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be a lot of people saying he should have stayed in college. Because
I hope not. And it's not like it's so weird with the NBA draft. It's not like kind of like how the NFL is. Like we know there's teams that are lower rate that may get the allotment, but they're not like the worst team. But Zion Williamson, just to be fair, is 6'6" and weighs 284 pounds. That's a lot of weight.
Yeah. He needs to lose weight
way
before he
more
came
lean
in,
than
for sure.
that.
Yeah. And I think his game could transition well to the NBA. But the thing is, like I said, how much pressure he's going to be the face of that organization at 18 years old. Because he's going to come in.
Him to go to the Jazz.
Well, yeah, another bad franchise. I mean, it's a better run franchise, but they don't have anything around him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just and here's the thing, Cooper's a winner. Like people don't understand this. When good players go to bad teams, they have to be honest with themselves and say, you know what? We're going to be bad for a minute.
Yep.
And we're going to take a lot of losses before we start winning. What kind of mentality do you have, or how does that affect you as your season goes throughout when you're losing by 30 points and you're losing 10 games in a row, to where when you were in high school and you were in college, you didn't even lose back-to-back games.
Right.
People don't, again, this is, and I appreciate you saying this about me because this is what I'm talking about. People don't think about the deeper things that go on with being an 18-year-old and being the number one pick. Yeah, it's all glitz and glamour. Yeah, you get the bag. But like I said, and I've said this 20 million times, how many get extensions?
Mm-hmm.
Because anybody can get a bag. It's the extensions that make you the better player. Because if they're going to buy in more money after they've already gave you money, that tells you they believe in you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why Zion's probably going to get traded, because they're not going to pay Zion what he wants and what he's probably due because of his injury process and the fact that he hasn't really made his teammates better. So they're going to be like, dude, we got to send you somewhere else and try to get something out of it.
The healthy part of Cooper Flagg is 6'9", so he's 3 inches taller than Zion, and he only weighs 205.
Yeah.
He's
like I said, I
slim.
hope it works out. I hope it works out for him. I'm a little bit worried about it because where he's going to be landing, none of those teams have any talent around him, and he's going to be losing for a good minute until they figure some stuff out.
Give us some
Good
Nate
luck.
always. What'd you say, Nate? I'm sorry.
Oh no, good luck. That's all.
Right.
That's on.
Always great to have you on, Nate. Give us some score projections you got going on right now. What's the updated scores that are what you're watching?
Golden State, Houston just tipped off. It's 13-7, Houston. So,
all right. What was the finale on those other games?
So Cleveland's up 113-108 on Miami. So I'm gonna say they probably win that game, and the Celtics won.
Celtics won. All right, Nate, tell our audience how to find you on the socials. We know you are the host of the One ASS Cheek Three Toes.
Yeah. I'll just say butt. So One Butt Cheek and Three Toes. That is our show. We air on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Pretty much just talk all Lions. We got a Jay's cooking session where he's going to provide videos and insight on some of our players, and then also too. We're opening it up to guests or have a forum where we can like talk shop, because right now in the off season, there's not a lot of big news going on, even though the Lions did have some news today. But yeah, just talk shop and yeah, you can find us on YouTube, One Butt Cheeks and Three Toes. And we're going to be collaborating with y'all tomorrow for the draft watch party. Super excited for that.
Very excited.
And then, like I said, Sunday, we're going to do a show Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, pretty much going to talk some Lions news. And then we're going to have an open forum for talking about the draft, how people thought their teams did, and yada, yada stuff. So check it out. Please
check them out. And B. Strill is also your co-host on that podcast.
Yes, B. Strill is also my co-host, and Jeremy Myrick is also
Germany. They're on, and JB is also with them. They're sometimes on 2 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday Eastern.
JB, B has his show on 2 p.m. on Eastern time, on the Huddle Network. Correct.
Absolutely.
And they talk Detroit sports.
Yes, and he's also now taking our 5 p.m. slot here on the National Streaming Sports Network.
Yeah, because he's going to be changing. Yeah, because he's not going to be doing the day anymore. He'll be going to the afternoon. So
but we got both you guys on both networks now on National Streaming Sports and Sports Network. Nate, always great to sit down and talk with you.
Yeah,
we'll do it again tomorrow, brother. The intellect is always on point. We thank everybody.
Appreciate it.
Love, comments. Thank you for joining me impromptu, Nate. Always a great time. We wish everybody a good night. We'll see you guys tomorrow night at 7:15.
Go Lions.
30 p.m. For the draft. And as we say, go Lions, and I'm saying keep pounding.
Hey.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.